So it's Thursday the 1st of February. Lovely day actually, a bit cool blue. But yeah, the sun's shining through the hazy cloud. Lovely day actually, quite still as well. There's no wind around. So what I'd call perfect ingredients for a short walk with Willow. Yeah, the last few weeks I've been suffering with some lower back pain. Not been delivering the college coursework. Willow also pulled some muscles over last weekend, so yeah, I took her for, she had physio Monday, but then rested her a couple of days and then just bringing her out for a short walk. But she seems to have picked up now, considering that I was quite concerned at first perhaps she'd pulled a bit more muscle or twisted something, but to be fair she seems alright. And to some extent I'd like to think that is testament to all the work we've put in really over the last, probably, well, she's nearly 14 now for Weimaraner, as I love to tell everybody, because that's amazing. I'd say the last 2 years made a lot of adaptations, taking her to physio as well, trying to do a lot of strengthening exercises, stuff that actually I just think is, I want to make sure I do for her that's more natural, that isn't about taking medication. And in terms of my lower back pain and looking after myself, yeah, a bit of a will take the leaf out of my, I suppose, my own book in terms of the way I'm looking after Willow. So I have been really mindful of all the things we need to do, getting a dog ramp the last sort of year and a half, 2 years, not having to going up really any sort of stairs, that are going to be quite difficult for her. To be fair, I don't really let her upstairs in the house anyway. But we did have wooden floors and vinyl floors, so put in carpet everywhere so she doesn't slip. But part of the point, I suppose, of saying that to you right now in this moment is I'm thinking, well, I'm doing all that for Willow. Have I really, if I'm really honest, been looking after myself as well as what I could do? Most people who know me know that I tend to, when I've got a bit of time, I revert back to work. And I love my work. I'm passionate about all aspects of my work, including my own business, my clients, my coaching, my supervision, my therapy, my mental health first aid training, and the course delivery at the college. And then at the same time, I've been asking myself the question for, I'm talking probably a couple of years. I've had this question in my mind that keeps coming back to me, which is this sustainable? And I think being off for a couple of weeks with my back as well is really, it's left me with a bit more space and time to think as well. I mean, really think, rather than having a question in the back of my mind and then carrying on with, just pushing through and having a lot to do. So I really need to sort of consider that, and I've been doing strengthening exercises for my back since I felt it wasn't right, just after Boxing Day really it started. I've been doing strengthening exercises twice a day. I've kept that up consistently. I've been to swimming a couple of times. If I'm honest, it's one of those things I've got to push through and go a bit more. I've said previously, I'm not a strong swimmer. It's not my natural go-to. My natural go-to was always high impact. But, you know, my knees have been, my right knee hasn't been fantastic for a few years now, to be fair. So realistically, I've got to start to consider, you know, those lifestyle changes where things that I know are better for my body, I need to really factor that in to my, you know, my week and my life. But again, for those things to happen and for me to have a bit more breathing space, I then have to question all the other stuff that I'm doing, and it comes back to that question mark: is it sustainable? So, you know, my business name, you know, there's no limits with no limits, and there's, you know, some massive clue there. So, you know, on the one hand, I've always said there are no limits to the possibilities and the potential of what you're capable of, how creative we are, how I think we as human beings know deep down so much stuff about ourselves and lots of things, but we tend to often get caught up in, I haven't got time, we ignore things, we might notice sniggles in our body or even the questions we ask of ourselves in our mind, but then we don't always truly give that the space that it deserves. And I think also, you know, all my life I've worked in the area of caring for others, empowering others, encouraging others, supporting others, championing others, in so many different ways, on so many different levels, and I think I need to seriously look at, well, you know, what is it currently that I really need, you know, truthfully need to live. I think to live at a sort of a slightly, well, I'll say slower pace, but just a pace where I can give space to breathe in, literally. I said the other day, I was doing some creative work, you know, it was this notion of space to breathe. And yet, ironically, I was looking back at some leaflets and cards around my sort of business No Limits, and in fact, going back to the really early days, 2020, what is it, 25? Yeah, at least actually, no, more than about 25 years ago or so. My first little cards and my leaflets, although they probably don't look quite as professional as my sort of current ones, actually when I looked at them, one of the key questions I had on there was, or the things I said I offered as well, was, you know, giving people the space to breathe. And I just found that quite interesting, that I was looking back going, okay, so I had that there then, saying that is what I offer to others. Well, you know, I am a great believer in practicing what you preach, but at the same time, the reality is, for all the best intention in the world and for being the, you know, wanting to be somebody who other people consider to be a good role model and a great coach and therapist and supervisor, I mean, I'm leave that well, thanks. I'm human, I've got my flaws just like anybody, and actually, yeah, I really need to have an honest look at, you know, myself in terms of what I'm saying I want, what I'm doing, and also, but coming back to what my body's telling me. There's a book that I've read, and quite a few years ago, I also recommended it to lots of people who I work with, the one, the Body Keeps the Score. I think there's something really important in that. So, on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you all. But yeah, I'm asking myself those questions. So, you know, as always, I'm also sharing to, you know, help others to consider what that means for them. So, you know, what decisions do you need to make about yourself, your life? What's sustainable for you? What isn't? What do you need to let go of to create more space, to create more breathing space, to enable you to live the fulfilling life that you want and that you need. Well, leave that, thank you. And I'm asking you, I'm sort of leaving you with these, deep meaningful questions, as much as, they're as deep and meaningful as you make them, aren't they? But I'm just thinking the irony of this and the paradox is that I'm walking Willow while I'm sharing this with you, and I was just pushing her away from the fact that she was anybody who got dogs, they might know, she was trying to eat some poo, and I'm just like, okay, the practicalities of living your everyday life. It's like, I'm asking you these questions, and it's all about creating space and meaning, and we still need to deal with the poo. I just think I love it. I'm both, I'm somebody who loves and believes in the possibilities of everything, but I'm also somebody who's very practical, very down to earth, very grounded. So I just think there's irony in that. How do you get to breathe, have breathing space, live a great fulfilling life, and deal with the poo as well? So on that note, Mandy and Willow, loving you and leaving you, and I shall speak to you really soon. Take care, bye.